Hi guys, Saki here, coming in with another guide. This video will be covering the optimal settings I use to play BDO and see monster hunt with, and the different methods and tactics that I use to hunt monsters. As you already know, as of April 3rd, 2018, the AFK queue hold method is no longer viable, because you are no longer allowed to use your mouse movement when you're on a ship, mainly the Furia sailboat, frigate, and the Bertali sailboat. So, with the easy brain dead method completely gone, this video will be covering more advanced tactics, which will reduce your kill time, allow you to kill sea monsters faster by having you to be actively hunting. So this, in a sense, this quote-unquote nerf to sea monster hunting is actually more beneficial for you if you want to make more money, because now it forces you to hunt better. So I'll be going through all the settings and everything I personally use. One step by step, I'll have the timestamp down the bottom in the description so you can skip through as needed. This video will be quite lengthy as compared to all the other videos. So first, I want to cover the settings I personally use. So what I would recommend everyone doing if you're using a GTX card or RTX card to backdate your drivers. So the drivers I personally use is the 390.77 driver for Nvidia. If you have an AMD card, I honestly don't know how to help you. I only know how to deal with GTX cards. I'm not sure if this works for RTX or not, but as of this now, you ideally want to backdate to the 390.77. And the reason why you want to backdate to this version specifically is because this version allows you to have unlocked FPS when you play BDO. So you're no longer locked at 60 or 144 frames or whatever the refresh rate of your monitor is. So backdate your drivers, make sure you uninstall everything, install the new drivers or the older driver, and then use that. As for your settings, which I'll also have a more detailed description in or more detailed layout in the description, but I'm going to go through it really quick. You're going to be accessing your Nvidia control panel. And I'll go through each one. So for adjust image settings, you always want performance. You don't care about quality because you want to maximize your FPS. So performance, manage 3D settings. This is my global settings, but if you want just specifically for BDO, you can go over program settings and then do it specifically for BDO. So set here this load here. And we're gonna look for BDO. Okay, so we're gonna add Black Desert, and then we're gonna change it in here instead of the global settings. Me, I just use the global settings because the only game I play is BDO. So we're gonna go through Ambient Occlusion off, Anisotropic Filtering off. So it's basically copy all of these settings. So I'm just gonna quickly go through here. I'll have the whole list down in the description, so I don't want to go through each one by one on the video because it's kind of irrelevant. After you kind of match my settings, you save, you exit. You might have a couple of other options depending on what monitor you use. It will adapt to your monitor, but these are the core settings you're going to be playing around with. So this is what I found most optimal. So let's copy that. And the second thing you want to do is you want to go in-game. You want to open your settings, go to performance. Graphics you want to keep on low. Low is optimal if possible, but since I'm using a GTX 1080 Ti, I can do a medium without any problem. You're going to see my FPS being locked at 120 frames here because for whatever reason, OBS locks me at 120 frames. I don't know why. But once I get around to recording the sea monster hunting portion, I will be switching over to a camera so that I am not being locked at 120 frames. So low optimal, and just go up as you are allowed to. To determine like whether you're able to go up in these settings or not, is you go open up your MS Afterburner. You're gonna check your GPU's usage, and if you're not maxed out, you can go up a little bit. And you can see right here, I'm at 40% usage. So this means that my GPU is only working at 40% capacity. So that means I have a little bit more headroom to increase my settings without taking a performance hit. So we're gonna go on Automation X. We're gonna make sure the lower power option is off. You really want this off. You do not want auto frame automation on. So you want both of these off. You can have hide other adventures on and off. That's up to you. Character automation off. Performance, camera performance. You want to max your vision range. I don't know why you would ever play at anything less than 100%. Keep it 100. Go display setting, same thing. You're gonna be playing in crop mode. The resolution you want here is you want to drop it down to the point where you're not at 100% GPU usage. So right now, since I am using a GTX 1080 Ti, I can run at 1440p. But for most people, I would drop it down to the lowest resolution possible. So this means 720p, crop mode on, all the way to the left. So what the crop mode will do is it will make your screen look like this. Everything outside this square here will be grayed out. So you'll be using less of your GPU, meaning you'll be able to increase your FPS. Effects, you want to keep your filter off. Effects, filter off. And then all of these, camera graphics, camera effects off. You don't want any of that on. General setting, you want to go down show hide and do a transparent mask. And that's generally the settings that you're going to be playing with. What's going to be affecting your FPS the most is going to be your low power option. That's going to limit how much usage your GPU is allowed to use. Turn that off because we want to utilize our GPU to the max. And this, just drop it down as low as possible if you want to be safe, but you can go up if the graphics just looks horrible to you. I hate playing low graphics, and since I have headroom, I don't see why not if it's increasing a little bit. And I will have the detailed description down again in the bottom, so you don't have to, wait for the video here. So next up, we're gonna go kind of discuss how we're gonna be tackling this. So there are two ways left to see Monster Hunt, and both of them involve cam locking or camera locking. And what camera locking is, it allows you to turn the ship really quickly without, actually using the turn mechanic of the ship. And you'll get that when I go a little further in details. So the first method is gonna require a controller, and you can use any controller. It could be Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, PC controller, any controller that you have laying around, you're able to connect to your computer, that will work. That will be no problem. If you don't have a controller, I really, 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 really recommend you buying one. You can definitely do it without it. There is a second method that don't require the controller, but it's much more work, and it's not as consistent unless you become really good. But I'm turning IQ. I like easy things. So you just go on Amazon. Like we can see here, the Amazon basic Xbox One's controller, $25, extremely cheap. And even when it's cheap, even more, Logitech gamepad for $15. Get yourself a controller, make your life easier. Connect to your computer. We'll go with the first method. Okay, now so we're out at sea. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna go through the settings one by one to make sure that you guys have the proper settings when using controller or mouse or keyboard. So I'm going to be going through both the settings. I'll show you how to hunt with both mouse and keyboard and the controller. The controller being much, much easier. So for the settings for the controller, you're going to hit escape, settings, interface. You go down to gamepad interface and you click on use gamepad, make sure that is on. And then you go over to the, hotkeys, action hotkeys. So you can go to gamepad settings. You're going to rebind your sprint, which is your shift on your keyboard. You rebind that sprint to whatever button you want on the controller. So I'm using an Xbox 360 controller here. So I'm going to bind that to left trigger because I like left trigger. And then you rebind special action 1, which is going to be your key on your keyboard, to whatever button you want. So for me, it will be right trigger. And then you can bind your F key to, or your whatever your repair key is, F5 I think it was, to whatever button you want on the keyboard. Oh, I'm getting attacked by a candy dump here, so I'm going to get out of the way. As for the mouse and keyboard, you're basically going to keep your default settings or whatever key bindings you have normally. And then you're going to go over to whatever mouse program that you have. I'm using a Logitech specifically. So we're going to be playing with a DPI. So I recommend lowering your DPI to a comfortable level. I'm pretty comfortable at 1200 DPI because I'm able to cam lock without, de-locking from the camera. So 1200 works for me. Lower it if you're finding that that's too high. Raise it if it's too low. Just make sure that you're not de-locking from your cam lock. And I'll show you what that means in a second. So now I'm going to switch over to the camera. The quality might not be as good or just might be terrible. Hopefully it'll be good enough just so you guys have an idea what to do. Alright guys, I have the camera running now. So I'm going to show you what cam locking is and how to do it. So essentially what cam locking is, it allows you to turn your ship extremely fast, as you can see here on the screen. I'm able to do 360 in about a second and a half. I already have a candy right in front of me, so I'll show you guys how to fight candies with a controller. So I'm using my Xbox 360. You can probably kind of see here, kind of sucky quality, but you gotta deal with it. So I have a candy behind me. I'm just gonna try to look for it, because actually looking at my camera is really difficult. Where'd it go? Okay, so on my left, it's gonna attack, so I'm gonna wait for it to attack low, but kind of drive away, turn around, kind of watch the attack animation, so when it re-submerges, we're gonna go attack. So we're gonna do a ram, chase after it, turn, line up, hit the right trigger button, which is the ram button again to activate the damage animation. We're just gonna keep spamming it or holding it. We're gonna keep spamming it right behind it, so we have to keep doing damage. So it's attacking, so we're gonna move away, and as it's coming back up, we're gonna turn back around. We're gonna wait for it. This is gonna be very crude because I want to get the basic out of the way because you guys are freaking out about the patch and how CMOS hunting is dead. So we're just gonna try to kill this as fast as we can. This should take about 4 to 5 minutes actively doing this extremely crude method. The advanced method will come out a little later on. I just want to show you guys how to fight with controllers and the keyboard using the cam lock method for now. So we're just gonna, instead of holding Q all the time, we're just gonna circle around and keep ramming the candy until it's dead with a cam lock. And you can do this with all the monsters, not just candy. You can do this with Night Shark, you can do it with Rust, you can do it with large gold chips. Extremely easy. And the higher FPS you have, the better. So now you kind of see that I have the controller. We're gonna switch over to the keyboard. So like I said before, the keyboard I generally use about like 200 or 1200 DPI, and I'm able to cam lock pretty decently. But if you're not able to do that, I'll just go over to the mouse drivers and drop it down to, let's say, 400 or something, or 300, for example, in this case. Be extremely slow, but it'll be enough, just be enough. That's too slow. So we'll do 600. So we're still able to cam lock with the mouse, just a little bit harder, not as consistent. Same method. So we're gonna Q, ram, hit Q again to do damage. It dives, we're gonna ram away. We're gonna turn back around. Do damage to it as it's coming up. We're gonna follow it. Hit spam Q again, so do damage. So just keep spamming Q. Attacks where we go away, and we gotta go ship. Of course we do. And that's basically how you do the cam lock method. Very simple, very easy. You can do that for all of the monsters.